Hello, this is Mama Jess. So I have been planting tomatoes this morning, doing a lot of work. I milked the cow and trying to get more garden beds going. And yeah, I planted some pretty long rows of tomatoes. So I've been working for about 2 hours since I milked, and I'm starting to feel very tired. The reason I'm talking about this is I want you to know how to pace yourself through work when you have a chronic illness. So I've had severe adrenal fatigue for the last like 20 years. A lot of it started after my husband died when I was young. Uh, it was just too much for me. It just ripped my skeleton out of my body, and the anxiety and shock were so intense that I just couldn't handle it. So it really took a beating on my body, and just our culture is so crazy fast. I think everybody's burned out. Kind of this adrenaline junkie culture we live in. But anyway, so I get really tired pretty quick. I can work really hard. I pace myself. I walk. I don't race everywhere. I just kind of go easy, a pace that I can manage. But about this time in the morning, I start feeling really low. And I know this is when the circadian rhythm causes a dip in your cortisol levels. So I start feeling crummy. So I'm sitting down and I'm resting. And I just want you to know that Mama Jess has a health problem and it makes her tired a lot. I guess the old term for it would be chronic fatigue. But because I've been so disciplined in what I eat and who I'm around and my sleep, I get to bed anywhere between 6:30 and 8:30. I try to get 12 hours of sleep, just laying down and resting even if I can't sleep. I don't go by the 6 to 8 hours that the experts say. And I believe that the light bulb has hijacked everybody's proper sleeping pattern. So everyone's sleep deprived, probably a little bit, running on coffee. So I don't do coffee. I don't do caffeine. And so I've learned to manage, and I know when to rest. I'll go lay down sometimes multiple times a day. I'll just lay flat on my back on the ground if I have to. It makes me feel better. And I'll talk a little bit with you about adrenal fatigue and my understanding of it and the things I've come to personally that have really helped me. So if you have health problems, I totally understand. And I will give you my personal experience and my knowledge, my wisdom, my discipline that has helped me be able to do an enormous amount of work despite this illness. So I don't want an excuse to not work. I love to work. It's awful to be trapped in your body in bed and feel awful. So I just want you to know a little bit about me. I can talk more about losing my husband and all that later. But, a lot of folks out there have a lot of health problems because of this culture we live in. There's toxic food. There's all kinds of toxic things that are going on. And so we have to learn how to build ourselves up as much as we can so that we can do as much as we can. So don't be discouraged. Just learn to rest, learn to take a break and just kind of relax and feel crappy and breathe and lay down and eat something, eat a snack, have some salt water, and know that you'll probably feel better shortly and you'll have a little bit more energy to do something. I just don't want you to have a lot of excuses like, well, I've got this fatigue problem and I've got this hormonal problem. I probably have more problems than you do. And I'm very sympathetic, but I also don't want people to make excuses to not live, which is common in our country. I probably could have gotten on disability years ago and gotten on all their medication, but I refused. I found every avenue of health that I could, and it has allowed me to do an enormous amount of training in various skills and knowing how to build, how to garden, really farm, work with animals, get up every single day at 7 o'clock to milk a cow. So I don't want you to have excuses anymore to exile yourself from life is really not a good idea. So stick with me, and I'm going to teach you what you need to do, and you'll be able to do an enormous amount of amazing things in your life. All right. I'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.